I'm not what I should be, but fuck God, I'm not what I once was.
Take me, gasoline. I'll let you water me until I die. Tell me why.
Hi there folks, welcome back to another Tayar podcast session. This review is going to be of the rescheduled VUKOVI gig which took place on Friday the 11th of April at the SWG3 venue in Glasgow. It was different in comparison to last time, not due to the power cut, but the way we actually entered the building as well was completely different.
So much better.
Yeah, so without further ado, let's just get stuck into it. Neil, first band, or do you want to describe about what happened during the first band?
Well, I mean, we got into the building, we got into the main hall, we were late, and first band, Fox Bandits, were just finishing their set. Fox Bandits sounded really, really good, but all we caught was sort of the last half of the last song. We're going to have to do some research, but I would like to go and see them sometime.
I got the kind of impression that they were that kind of gothic image, rock core sound in comparison to both Lake Malice and VUKOVI that we've seen. I probably would have been more into their style of music than what I was to Lake Malice and VUKOVI. Now, I know this is early on in the podcast and I'm not slating Lake Malice nor VUKOVI. I was really impressed with what I heard in that one song of Fox Bandits, and I completely agree with you. They're definitely on my radar / our radar,
Yeah.
and I definitely look forward to seeing them.
Did they look like a bunch of young lads? They looked like they were...
I mean, they're going through that, I don't know, is that kind of emo phase making a comeback, or am I just a bit too...
It's never been away.
Yeah, am I just not paying much attention to what youth cultures are actually getting into these days? The setup, from what I can remember, it reminded me of like a goth scene, maybe 80s, 90s, early 2000s goth, that kind of Victorian look. One of them was definitely wearing a white shirt, and the other was definitely, a black shirt with a waistcoat. So the whole vision completely matched the sound, and it was something that definitely piqued an interest. I mean, professionally, they looked the part. Everything on stage, their whole sort of charisma and performance looked fantastic and professional. So yeah, they're a band that definitely will keep on the radar and definitely will look out for.
Then it was Lake Malice. So
Yeah.
Lake Malice, we saw the full set. It's an Italian singer.
Alice, that's her name.
Okay.
Alice.
Italian singer. I was chatting to her later on. And a guy from just outside Brighton, and they're based down in that area at the moment. I think it's just a duo. Very, very powerful, very loud. She sings and she does the screaming parts of the metal, and she's very, very good at it. Yeah, I thought they were very impressed, very professional. She conveyed lots of emotion through her singing and through her, you can only call it screaming. But yeah, it was great, absolutely brilliant.
I actually feel that Lake Malice kind of stole that show. Alice's charisma and performance was just outstanding, and as you say, yeah, the vocals is what drew me to that band. So sound wise, again, they're incorporating a lot of electronic music, but I could see a great similarity between the RTO band that we first reviewed, Lake Malice and VUKOVI. All three bands perfectly merge electronic music with sort of a rock core or like modern rock mixed with hardcore elements. They definitely nail that soundscape.
Yeah, she's got great stage presence. She worked the stage, she worked the audience.
But the sound as well, the sound as well was great. So you're talking about the drummer, how you think it's just a duo. Yeah, I can agree with that. A lot of the promo material that you capture on their social media, it's very much Alice and the guitarist, I don't know his name, but they seem to be working with the drummer, because the drummer that they have, he was excellent. I don't know if it was a he or a she, but I think it's a he. He was really, really good.
felt professional. It felt well-oiled machine.
Yeah, everything that drummer played was perfect. It was on cue. He wasn't too flashy, and he wasn't too simple neither. It all came together, and it was a perfect ensemble.
So thumbs up from Lake Malice.
Yeah. We got chatting to a boy. Was it Aaron? I think his name was Aaron, wasn't it, at the show?
Yeah.
We met the 4 guys from Aberdeen. They came down, and we bumped into them when we were at the queue for speaking to Alice. But we met another guy called Aaron, and he is a massive fan of Lake Malice. So shout out to Aaron, and all the best for Lake Malice. Definitely, highly recommend catching their performance if you're into sort of this modern genre, which is fusing electronic elements with sort of a rock core sound. Lake Malice are definitely one to look out for.
Yeah, check them out on YouTube. Look at their socials.
They've got. I listened to a few after the gig, because we don't do anything beforehand. But definitely after the gig, I was looking at a few videos that they released on YouTube. In fact, there's one more thing that I want to say. Did you happen to have a look at the sound engineer during their set? Yeah, it wasn't the sound engineer, apologies.
The
it was
lighting boy.
the lighting engineer.
Oh, he
during
was
their set.
absolutely going off his nut.
I
mean, in a
that
good
was
way.
Beautiful.
He was loving it.
That was absolutely beautiful. I've never actually been to a concert before where members of the audio engineering or lighting engineering team actually engage with their performance. For me, it looked as if he was being a part of that band, and that's what should be happening. Everybody that's involved with setting up a gig, it doesn't matter if you're an engineer and all you're doing is pressing the button, everybody plays an equal part of that gig. I've heard conversations whereby the performers have actually gone back up to a sound engineer and said, look, we're not quite happy with the levels, or we're not quite happy with the EQ, or we're not happy with something, can we get it fixed? And professionally, I feel that it is the audio engineer or the lighting engineer to take that criticism on board and to resolve that issue. At the end of the day, each of these people are trying to make that their own profession, and they're wanting paid for it. So you need to make sure that it's right.
They're providing a service. If,
Yes.
if it's not right, then
Yes.
they should adjust their levels to
Yes.
create what the band are looking for.
Yes.
And the band know what they're looking for. It's not their job to tell the band what they're looking for. It's the band's job.
Yes.
Okay, so that leads us on to VUKOVI.
Aye, the rescheduled VUKOVI.
Did you enjoy?
I loved it. So the first time that I seen VUKOVI was back in St. Luke's, and it was October 2021. And I wasn't too impressed with them. Now, I don't know if that was, I felt the performance was too generic, or if I wasn't particularly fond or interested in the soundscape they were doing, but I just kind of felt a bit bored, and I actually think we left halfway through the last song. I don't think we stayed for their whole set. This time round, however, I thought, I can't believe that I wasn't experiencing this.
Bigger stage,
I don't-
bigger atmosphere.
But it could have been St. Luke's, it could have been the venue, because the venue was more like a rounded thing. So if you think about the Usher Hall in Edinburgh or the Royal Albert Hall, this was more like it was a weird thing. It was like a converted theatre. You had your balcony up the top, which is where we went for the VUKOVI gig. We were downstairs, funny enough. Who was supporting them? Press to Miko. So I was downstairs for Press to Miko, and I don't know, something just felt a bit off. There was something just not quite right, and it kind of it was throwing my, how would you say it, my equilibrium off. I just felt a bit off that night. And then, yeah, VUKOVI, I don't see what all the hype was about. But maybe that was just me, as I said, I just wasn't prepared to receive them. But Friday the 11th, I thought it was really, really, really good. In comparison then with that time I seen them in October, I thought they definitely became more professional. Their songwriting had definitely more matured. and it was more of a rounded finish, whereas before maybe it tended more towards that hardcore, rougher edge. Yeah, you've got me hooked now. You've got me hooked. Yeah. What did you think about it? Because you didn't really say much.
As an older man, which, you know, I like a lot of different music, it's something that I couldn't get into. The breakup of the melodic music into metal music, it stop-start for me. Personally, I'm not saying they're not good. They're brilliant at what they do. Their songs well written, as you said, but I like flow, and I feel that that's something that they don't give me. I like a song that, you know, doesn't go la 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 la, stop. It's a weird concept for me to get my head around. I even tried listening to some of their YouTube videos, and
So
Snow seemed to have a better flow.
Right.
Their older stuff had a better flow to it than some of the new stuff.
The new stuff off the My God Has Got a Gun.
My God Has Got a Gun, yeah.
Did you listen to a song called La Di La Di La? Is it La Di La? La Di Da? That was from their one of their previous albums. That was the song they finished their set on. Did you happen to have a listen to that? Because as soon as they started playing it, I thought, I've heard this before, and for some reason I instantly remembered the whole sort of choral vocalization. I thought, oh man, I totally remember this one, and it was catchy. Well, I thought it was catchy.
See, I didn't find a lot of it catchy.
Right.
I found a lot of it start-stop. Hey, if you're into that, you're into that. It's just not for me. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about them. I just don't understand their music. Music to me is about counting and flow and numbers and the way it goes through 4 bars, 8 bars, and
Yeah, but like tangencies as well. In the sense of like driving a car.
yeah.
It's about the flow of the journey, but as long as the tangency fits.
Yeah, as I say,
Yeah.
VUKOVI's not for me.
Okay, so we've kind of discussed a bit of the music. I want to look at more of the live performance then, because there's something that's been bothering me, and I may as well admit this on Tayar podcast. Janine,
Yep.
her interaction with the audience, she curses a lot. Do you feel that that's suitable towards her act, as her act is more appealing to a younger audience? Do you feel that it's appropriate, being at a professional level is what she is?
Oh, most of the songs have, you know, a lot of cursing and swearing all the way through them. If you look at the lyrics, it's F's and everything through all the songs. I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
That's the way she's conveying her emotion. She can swear as much as she wants.
Right.
That's the way the song's written. If that's what they do, that's what they do. You know, I don't feel that it's out of place or it's inappropriate.
I could just be letting my personal side interfere with that, and because I feel that it does. But maybe that's just me. Maybe that's the sense of imagery that I'm considering myself as being a performer, and that's something that I don't want to do. So maybe I'm just taking a bit of umbrage about that. I feel that everyday life there's enough cursing and swearing and, you know, vulgar language or vulgar behaviour, that this artistic performance, I'd rather keep it more cleaner so that people can, how would you say it?
Bring younger children towards it.
Well, no, I don't want to talk about Ethelian because I don't feel talking about it is appropriate in this setting. But as a performer, so my Ethelian band, I've kind of trying to target it for all audiences. Whereas I feel bands like Lake Malice and VUKOVI, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I presume that the whole sort of modern rock and metal genre, mind you, in saying that, probably most of popular music has been appealed to the younger audience. So now looking at much younger society, yeah, sure, there's you know, 10, 11-year-old kids out there that are displaying vulgar behaviour. But from my personal observation, I don't feel it's appropriate.
Someone said something to me the other day which has stuck with me. It is now a hip hop age, and you know those boys, F's and C's and everything else.
It's second
it's
nature.
all it's in second nature.
Yeah.
It's a hip hop age, even though this is rock metal music.
Aye, but
She
it's-
came on. I
it's
mean, what
society.
she wears is, I'd say, more of a hip hop style.
Would you
than,
really?
Well, I mean,
I
it's definitely not rock.
No, but I would say it was more of a pop. In comparison to RTO and Lake Malice. You know, Lake Malice, Alice, she came out with sort of like a black dress corset thing, and you know, I'm looking at your t-shirt because Neil here, he's wearing the Lake Malice t-shirt, and it's got that gothic image about it. She fit the part. The RTO thing, we're talking about this electronic rockcore sound being more suitable towards a younger generation. She came out with a big baggy knit and sort of these big flary, if you want, hip hop style trousers. Yes, it totally fit the aesthetic. Janine, however, she came out with like an almost at some point see-through kind of sequenced dress. I feel that was more of a fashion statement, performance thing. That kind of, to me, coincides more with like your, like Dame Shirley Bassey, like a big ballroom thing. But then in modern terms, more like Taylor Swift and Sabrina Carpenter.
But
So it's more of a pop aesthetic.
it's the same as
opposed
what
to
she
just
wears in
a
her
rock.
videos, though. You know, it's the look that she's going for,
Right.
and it's what she wears in her videos.
Apologies,
is
I
something
can't
similar.
comment on that.
So it's not something that she's actually chosen to wear for this gig.
Aye.
It's an image that she's
Aye, that she's
portraying.
wanting to fit. That's fine. Personally, I feel it's a bit out of place. Professionally, aye, she totally looked the part. I'm not being derogative towards Janine, right? She's got a bit great charisma, and I feel that she fits entirely well with the VUKOVI thing. So don't think that I'm slagging off Janine. I'm not. Professionally then, yeah, I feel it's great. For a modern rock band, I mean, fair enough, yeah, they've been going for over 10 years, but to consistently still be there and to sell out, like the merch was selling out rapidly. And yeah, fair enough, it's still in their hometown, but the merch was selling out, so people are still buying into them and people are still supporting them, which I think is brilliant. Their soundscape, I can definitely argue, has changed since the last time that I heard them. And I've got a copy of My God Has Got a Gun. The music that's underneath this podcast has all come from that album.
According to Google, VUKOVI means wolves in Serbian.
Go and see VUKOVI. VUKOVI, brilliant. Go and see Lake Malice. Lake Malice, definitely one that I'm going to keep watching for, absolutely, because I think they were the best band of the night. And Fox Bandits, we need to catch them.
We need
Next
to
time
catch
they're in
them.
Scotland, we need to catch them. Although our mission statement is more to support live independent artists, I'm presuming that Fox Bandits have kind of been assigned to a label, so it's not something that we normally look out for, but you know what, nonetheless, it's live music and we'll go and support it. We still need to organise a trip up to Inverness and Aberdeen, as well as replan our trip back to Dundee, Edinburgh and Glasgow, and not to forget Perth as well.
So we've got lots to do. We've got lots
Aye.
to see, and we've got lots more to report on. So it's live and louder tonight, is it?
Live and louder at Banshee Labyrinth in Edinburgh. Today is Friday the 25th of April. We are going to support our good friends Bad Actress. We've heard that there's a lineup change, so we're very eager to find out how they get on. If you like what we do, we kindly ask you to subscribe to our YouTube video, and if you want to leave us any comments. We're also planning on getting a Facebook page as well. In the meantime as well, you can check out our Instagram page, which is at Tayar Podcasts. Thank you for listening, and once again, support live music.
Yeah, thank you guys. Support live music. Bye bye.